Yo, what's going on, guys? Khantrast here. We're back with another video, and today, as requested, but it's gonna be a little bit different, I am making kind of a GPO video. We are ranking the fruits that are currently in the game in update 4.5 or whatever you want to call this update before the new update in terms of PVE. And when I say PVE, I mean player versus NPC, obviously, or entity, I guess. So, for anybody who don't know the abbreviation, it does mean player versus entity. Now, this is just going to be my personal opinion because I have not tried every fruit in the game, so I don't know personally how each fruit goes. But personally, from what I've seen, I will rank the fruits on how I view them. But yeah, guys, let's get started. Alright, so the first one, obviously, we're going to start with Bomb. Immediate S tier. Best grinding fruit you could ever get. You don't need a low get to get to max, guys. You don't. With Bomb, you can get to max in under maybe a day or, like, if you're really grinding, you can probably get to max in 2 days. And that's tops. I'm being dead serious. With Bomb, its self-destruct is the only thing needed. You do not need any more points in Bomb after you have self-destruct. All you would do, you would put all your points in HP. And the more HP you have, the more damage you would do. So, to me, Bomb is a 10 out of 10 best grinding fruit in the game, like, compared to every Logia or Paramecia in the game. And that's just how I see it. Alright, next fruit, we have Sushi. Honestly, for grinding, Sushi is an okay fruit, but it's not good. So, I have to put it at a C, because with Sushi, you can't really use majority of its moves indoors, so you're already at a disadvantage. I would say the gravity field move, I don't know what move it's called, but it's where you use your gravity on the floor around you. That is a good move because of AoE, but it's not really a good damaging move. And when you're grinding, you need damaging moves to kill your NPCs, right? So that's why I put it at a C, because it's not as good of a grinding fruit. It's more of a PvP fruit, but the fruit in general is still pretty good. And I know people are gonna say that, well, it's good for grinding Krakens or whatever, but that's Krakens. If you want to put it on that term, then you could make it a low B, if anything. But I prefer talking about leveling, because if you talk about Kraken's, Bomb can't really do that much. I think it takes one self-destruct that you get credit, but at the same time you're fighting against like Pika users and Maga users too. Get their damage free. So in my opinion, Sushi is a C, probably a high C if not a low B. Again, my opinion, and that's where I'm just gonna keep it. Next we have on the list is Goro. Goro is a 10 out of 10 PvP fruit, but PvE is kind of iffy because most of the moves, they are good. They are kind of single target moves. And what I mean by that is the stun, obviously single target move. And I know you could argue that teleport hits everything around, which is a good thing, trust me, but it's like iffy to me because Goro is mainly, in my eyes, a PvP fruit. It's really good for PvE, trust me. The Logia asset always helps, but personally, I would put this at a mid B, if not a high C, or maybe, I'll be generous, a mid B or a low A, because it is a good fruit, but I don't really see that much grinding potential when it comes to levels. Next on our list is Pika. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and put Pika at a high A or a low S. And I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this because Pika is one of the best grinding fruits you can have. But the thing is, if you have Pika at a low level, not only are you blessed, but you're cursed, because you don't have a lot of skill points to put into your fruit to get your moves. So to me, that's really a handicap more than a blessing. That's why I put Pika at a high A, if not a low S, just because you do need a lot of skill points to get your next move. And this fruit is great overall for almost everything, grinding and PvP. It's a really good fruit, has really good moves for grinding. You can get the max in a matter of a day with this fruit if you're really trying. And honestly, it's a great fruit. All right, next fruit is Tori. Tori is currently in its state, it is not a good grinding fruit. It's more of a PvP fruit. People could argue that it is good for grinding. Personally, I don't see it because it doesn't have that many attack moves, and the only good attack move that you can really say you can use for grinding is the Phoenix Talons. So to me, this fruit is kind of a low B for grinding, if not no, not a low B, I'm sorry, a high B. Actually, no, not even above Goro, actually, when I think about it, because Goro has more farming moves than Phoenix does. So for me, it has to be a low B. It's a good fruit. If you ever find this fruit, I would not eat it, to be honest. Its rework should be coming soon, at least from what I heard. So I put it at a low B, and until the rework comes out, this is where I'm going to keep it. Alright, everyone's favorite fruit, man, the marrow. Alright, it is an F, not playing. Okay, so to me, I've seen Marrow's moves. It has a lot of good moves, but I don't think it's a good fruit in general. It's more of a PvP fruit because of the stuns. It does have a good AoE move, but I do see this as a PvP fruit, so I put it at a D for farming. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's mainly just a PvP fruit, and that's just how I see it. All right, Spin automatically an F tier. Spin doesn't have any attack moves from what I remember besides that little spin move around, but I don't think that's even good for AoE moves, so to be honest, this fruit is automatically an F tier. Next fruit is Gura. So from what I remember, when I had Gura, it was a great fruit, man. Granted, the cooldowns were long, but the damage was so good for what you were using. If you would use, I think it's its X move, the one that slams down all around you. If you would charge that and use that on NPCs, it would do so much damage if you had a lot in your fruit. So to me, this has to be a low A, if not a high B, because this fruit was honestly really good. Only downside to this is that majority of the moves have like a kind of a wind up to them, so if you get hit during the attack animation, it will cancel the move, which does suck. But this move's damage is outrageous when you have it at a good amount of points. So to me, it's probably one of my favorite grinding fruits to use because of the shock punch. It hits anything in its way, and because of the X move, I don't know, I think it's like a round shockwave or something. I don't know what it's called, I'm sorry. But this fruit has to be it's a really good fruit. It has to be either a high B or a low A to me. Next on the group is Hiei. Honestly, Hiei overall is a great fruit. I'm already gonna put this in no, not in front, but in between these fruits, because Hiei by far is a really good fruit to use for grinding because of its Ice Glacier. And when you use Ice Glacier, it hits anything in its path and flings them out the way, so you already gain distance for what you're using. And it's even a really good PvP fruit. Mainly it's used in PvP, granted, but in PvE it's still no different because the fruit is really good. In my opinion, this fruit is overall an 8 out of 10 because of how good it can be used and how really like what's the word I'm looking for, how useful the move is and how effective it is. Or not the move, the fruit, I'm sorry. Mid A for Hiei for a grinding fruit. It's just that good, I'm sorry. And of course, again, let me remind everybody, this is all in my opinion. Obviously you guys probably have way different opinions on these fruits, but this is just how I see it, and I'm just making it. All right, next on the list is Magu. It's gonna be the same case for Pika. It's, for me, Magu is a great fruit. I was grinding with it, well, not grinding with it, actually I finished my max level journey before I got Magu. But Magu overall is a really good grinding fruit just because of magma eruption and the magma swamp, I'm sorry. Those moves are really good for like crowds of NPCs, and honestly, if you get this fruit off of spawn, like by some luck, and you start grinding it from a level 1, you're honestly kind of blessed because the magma swamp is the first move you would get, and it's really good for taking out certain NPCs. So in my opinion, I put this above Pika because I do believe you get light ray second before like kick. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments, and I would obviously switch these up. But these are really good grinding fruits, but I prefer Magu over, actually no, I'm sorry, that's a lie. That is a lie. This is how I see it. It would be a good grinding fruit. I would put it in a low S, if not a high A. That's where I keep it now. But again, you would have to get lucky to get this fruit off spawn. All right, next we have Suna. Suna, in my opinion, is more of a PvP fruit, but it does have that grinding aspect. And what I mean by this is that its Desert Storm move, where it throws a storm on your enemy, that's a really good move for a group of enemies, but you do have to bait out their block mechanic. And what I mean by this is that for you add it so you can't farm in dungeons easier, so your enemies will block your first move that you already charge up, so you would have to bait out their block and then use that Desert Storm to get your damage with Suna. And honestly, Suna is more of a PvP fruit more than a PvE, but the fruit is still good in my opinion, and I have to give it a high C just because it's really good in mostly PvP, but that Desert Storm does carry it in PvE. Next is Mera. Mera has to be a high S. This fruit is almost a 10 out of 10 for me because all its moves are really good for farming, and all its moves have short cooldowns. I don't know if anybody pays attention, but Mera has the shortest cooldowns of all the fruits, and I am guaranteed of that. And because of the cooldown shortage, it is such a good fruit to constantly keep outputting damage, and you have a mobility move which isn't that fast but is still good to run away. And let's talk about its amazing guard break Flame Pillar, which has hyper armor, so if you're dealing with a crowd, you can literally Geppo, jump down while having a flame pillar out, and you would go ahead and hit your crowd, and it does so much damage for what it is. So that's why I put it at a high S, if not, or a low S, I guess you can say, before bomb, because low gear factor, always a good thing, but the moves are just great in certain situations. Next on the list we have Bari. To me, Bari was actually a really good fruit. I had it for a certain majority of my my grinding process. It was a great fruit to me, honestly, and it was a really fun fruit. It's not good too much for certain bosses, but if you know how to use this fruit, you can really do a lot of damage. I remember, I think I had a good amount, maybe a 500 to 600 on fruit with Bari, and I was outputting a lot of damage, and at the same time I had a lot of defense. So to me, it was a great fruit. It's a great fruit for dungeons, really good. To me, overall, it has to be either a high C, maybe not before Suna, but maybe it definitely maybe before Zushi. Just to me, this fruit was really good to me, and I don't want to just make it so it's like, oh, this fruit was my favorite at the time, but it's really good if you know what you're doing with it. Next fruit is Kilo. People would argue that Kilo is good for grinding, but I don't see it. I really don't see the potential, but I do know it is better than Spin, so I will put it above Spin in the F tier. Next on the list we have is Gomu. To me, Gomu by far is a really good fruit in PvP, mainly because all its moves are PvP based, but the mobility move is crazy, so you can use that to get away so quickly. And I think the main thing with this fruit is its Gatling, because if you have a lot into this fruit, that Gatling will shred your enemy's HP. So to me, I put this fruit at a low B for grinding, because if you can use that Gatling to a good extent, then I think you can really do a lot of damage here. Next on the list is Horo. I never used Horo. I've only seen certain gameplay of it, and from what I can see, honestly, this fruit could be good, but I don't think its damage moves are that good. Don't get me wrong, Kamikaze Ghost is a fantastic move to use on a boss or anything, but in my opinion, it doesn't really deal with AoE kind of moves. It's more of a singular target kind of move, and to me, that's what kind of brings it down. So I do have to put it in a low C. It could be good. I personally don't know, because I've never had Horo, but I personally put it at a low C. And last but not least, Suke, the best fruit to grind with in the game, man. Honestly, 10 out of 10. No flaws, best fruit. And that's going to be in the video. Not playing, guys. So obviously, Suke, low F tier, obviously. We already know why. We were all that person who wanted a fruit so badly we ate a Suke. But yeah, guys, this is just my tier list for now. Update 5, I will subdue this to change if any reworks happen or when the new fruits drop. But again, all my personal opinion on how I would rank these fruits in a PVE base. But yeah, guys, that's it. If you guys would like to see me do a PvP showcase, or not showcase, I'm sorry, a PvP ranking, I would gladly do so. Please drop it in the comments. I will check comments and I will read them always. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be the end of the video. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. I know people want me to do GPO content, so I'm trying to do more, even if it's small like this, but I hope you guys do enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. We will be live on Thursday. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun, guys. And comment any games you want me to play next, or any video suggestions you have for me. I do look at suggestions in my Discord, which we do have a Discord. It is going to be in the top of the link in the description. Please come and join. Be respectful, be kind, and just be awesome. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Content Fisher.